Everybody's interested in money, and one of the questions you're often asked is about European funding and how can people access European funding and what role do MEPs have when it comes to money from Europe? Well, in my last 5 years, I've had some success, either myself individually or working with other MEPs to try to ensure decent levels of funding for Ireland, in fact, maximum budgets in many cases. And I have a couple of specific areas where I have been successful in helping to secure funding. First of all, I'd like to mention the 35 million construction package for those who were redundant in the construction industry. And I was the prime mover in that for the Globalisation Fund. I went to the department and to many other agencies in Ireland, and I pushed until they applied for this fund. And that fund was then available to construction workers. Unfortunately, the department didn't make best use of it. But that wasn't my responsibility. My responsibility was to see that that money came in the first place, and I delivered on that. Also, as rapporteur in the Parliament, which means I led in the Parliament for the Globalisation Fund itself for all of Europe, there is a fund for €1 billion for redundant workers across Europe on that fund. Now, I'm not claiming credit for all of that, of course not, but I was one of the prime movers and I worked consistently on this for 3 years, and I'm glad to see we have success on it. As far as other funds to Ireland are concerned, we have, of course, our peace funds, our regional development funds, and we got some extra money in that area. And I worked with all of my colleagues. I won't claim any more credit than any of them, but I certainly worked with them and did my part in trying to ensure that Ireland received those funds, and particularly in my work on agriculture to make sure that we received a maximum budget under the cap. And finally, a smaller one, but nonetheless very, very important for those who will receive this funding, Eurocarers is a European organisation representing family carers, caring for carers in Ireland, and the Carers Association. And for many years, they've been trying to access funding to run the organisation. And 2 years ago, I managed to get the Budget Committee here to accept that carers could receive money under progress, and Eurocarers have just received word that they can access money under progress. Now again, I'm not claiming full credit. They obviously had to put in an excellent bid and they're a great organisation. But the fact that I had those words in the budget, that I had them inserted, made a difference. So yes, an individual MEP can make a difference when it comes to accessing funding. Okay, that was 2 minutes, was it? Tell me when to go. Okay. I just want to say a few words to you about women in decision-making positions. Now, you notice I didn't say women in politics, though, of course, that's a very important part of it. But I think we are missing the balance, because you need women in decision-making positions. So it's not in my view that women make better decisions than men. They don't. But they often make different decisions. And I think it's that balance that we are missing out in European policy and indeed in decision-making in Ireland. And that's why we need more women in positions of influence. That may well be more women politicians, and we certainly do. I mean, our record in Ireland is absolutely abysmal when it comes to the percentage of women in Dáil and Shannon Éireann. We do a little bit better in the European Parliament. But it's not just there. It's also women in decision-making positions in business and in public life. Because, as I said, that balance is missing. And I think the one thing that set me on this path was, I remember a couple of years ago, there was a huge survey in the border counties. Over 3,000 women were surveyed. And the name of the survey was Other Borders. And these women were asked, to rate what the issues for them were. And of course, there were childcare and elder care and school transport and special needs and all of those societal issues that matter hugely to families. But overarching all of that, they said that what they wanted was they wanted to see women in all levels of decision making because they believed that would deliver more balanced outcomes. So do I, and I will work to try to ensure that happens in any way I can.